Now, today on the program, troops arrest culprits involved in the killing of soldiers in Abia State. Algon chairman says 774 local government areas cannot pay 62,000 naira minimum wage, and later on we'll share this with you. Chief Edwin Clark urges President Tinubu to implement 2014 National Conference report. Again, Mr. Babajide Utitoju is unavoidably out of town, but let me report I'm hanging out with my colleagues, Adewale Adeoye. Wale, I greet you. Good evening to you. Wale, we are joined by Adekunle Yusuf. Kule, I greet you too.
Good evening.
Yeah. So, as you can see, the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, folks, let's set sail. You know, after a wrongdoing and you flee, the long arm of the law, we're told, comes after you. You may run, but not hide. The defense headquarters says many suspects have been arrested in connection with the killing of 5 soldiers in Abia State. Recall that 5 servicemen were brutally killed on May the 30th while reportedly going against enforcers of the sit-at-home directive. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this information at a press briefing in Abuja. Now, some camps belonging to the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and the Eastern Security Network, ESN, were destroyed. The arrested suspects are helping with information on those still at large. Wale, these are times that keep trying men's souls.
Yeah. I think my heart goes to the families of the 5 soldiers that were killed. It's a very unfortunate incident. We should put ourselves in that position. Some of them are married. Even if they are not married, they have parents, brothers, sisters. Just go for a national summit like that and you never come back. I think if you put yourself in that position, you know that it's a very painful scenario.
Traumatic too.
Traumatic, yeah. And I think I'm also impressed by the statement of the military that it used intelligence-led process that, led them to be able to arrest the culprits. Because the pattern has always been to punish a few people for the offense of few criminals. When there is a crime committed somewhere, go to that community and destroy, the whole place. And I think we have seen that happen over and over in Odi in 1999, in Odioma, in Zakibiam. And this is not a useful method to deal with culprits. If there are 1 or 2 people that have committed crime, the best thing is to use your intelligence to pick those people. Because if you want to enforce collective punishment, a lot of innocent people will suffer.
Yeah.
Even those that are in support of the army, even those that are retired soldiers, they are policemen who are serving communities in different manners, will be victims. So I also read that they have arrested some people, and I hope the army will do diligent work so that those that are innocent people,
will not pay for
should not pay for the offense, for the crime that they know nothing about.
Yeah.
And I think on a fundamental narrative, the issue that we are facing is not just about law and order. It's a very fundamental issue that speaks to a political problem that is facing our country. And I think it is time now for us to be thinking deep down in our mind that for how long are we going to continue this armed confrontation with fellow Nigerians? We had a civil war that lasted for 30 months, and we thought that was the end. But now, there is, armed agitation for sovereign state of Biafra. So I think that beyond the law and order, beyond arresting people, we need to look at this fundamental issue, which are the center of the national question, that is Nigeria, do Nigerians really see themselves as one? And if there are ceaseless agitations, people resorting to arms, what led them to a situation where they begin to carry arms? IPOB did not start as an armed group. In fact, it started with peaceful demonstrations. It was the killings that propelled them to resort into armed struggle. And also, if you look at what happened in OD, Kensarura started with protesting with leaves and all that, but he was hanged. Then OD, when people killed policemen, the Obasanjo regime went there and killed hundreds of people, women, children. I was one of those people that went there immediately after the siege was listed. Myself, Femi Falana, Olisa Agbakoba. We saw carcasses of women. That also produced armed groups, Asari Dokubo, Tompolo, Ateke. Yeah. And look at even the case of Yusuf, Mohammed Yusuf. If he had not been killed in that brutal manner, probably we would not have had Boko Haram today. So I think it is time for us to begin to think and look back. It's not every time you win your war by, through force. We need to look at the structure of Nigeria and then listen to these agitations, people that have resorted to carrying arms, so that we can sit down and talk about the future of this country.
All right. Kunle, I'm more troubled by the size of the arrests made. You can put a figure to it.
Well, not just the alleged, killers of the Nigerian soldiers. They arrested many people, oil theft, so many other things. You can see the Nigerian troop is doing a massive operation in the southeast, and I think through that they were able to nab some people who have been, branded as
who are connected,
alleged killers of the. I'm not bothered about the sheer number of whoever is picked or not. What we should start thinking about.
But aren't you bothered about the narrative you will get to hear later?
Where I'm going is we need to do a conversation around what we want our country to be.
Okay.
Over the years, we are treading the same path. This was the same narrative throughout 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari. It is continuing under President Bola Tinubu. Is that what we want? A country where Nigerian soldiers can just be, mercilessly killed? For what? No, that's not acceptable. For whatever reason, you can't kill Nigerian security, agents for whatever reason. Whether you are angry, you are not angry. No. That is, you have crossed the red line. And any country that permits it, then there's no country. You kill soldiers, you kill police, you kill everybody. No. These people you are killing are also Nigerians. Perhaps some of the things you are angry about, these people you are killed, that have been killed, are also victims of the same, narrative. You get what I'm saying? We need to do something. Whatever it is, we need. For example, why are people not happy about their country?
Okay.
Why are people permanently angry?
Well, invariably, you are saying the country hurts from so many sides.
See, when it's not about what is happening in the southeast, the government of Nigeria needs to look further what is happening in the southeast.
A second long, hard look.
Please. That's not a volatile part of Nigeria. The Igbos are not known for killing me. No. They are known for their industriousness, everything, enterprise. Now, all of a sudden, because of the way the last administration mismanaged the issue of IPOB, they became a violent organization. Then you thought, because you have power, Nigeria, federal government, yes, we prescribe. After being prescribed, IPOB is still operating. So Nigeria is losing big. And whatever it is, we need to do it. It is not acceptable for anybody to kill, security agents in Nigeria. These are not foreigners. They are Nigerians like us. They are fathers and mothers, breadwinners, husband, wife. Why will you kill them? Even if you're hungry, that you didn't like what the government is doing, or you hate the president, or you hate the governor, or you hate whoever you hate. It does not matter. You get what I'm saying? So we need to sit down. What is it that we need to do?
Yeah.
The situation we have found the southeast of Nigeria today, it is not acceptable because it has never been a violent part of Nigeria. We need to bring them back into what they are known for. They are known for hard work, for enterprising spirit.
And the country will be the better for it.
All of us will be better for it. You get what I'm saying? Whatever we can do to solve the problem of IPOB, because that crisis has not been solved. Whatever, it is not beyond us, and we don't need any commission, any court, no, just political solution. We will solve it.
Yeah, Adekunle Yusuf, I share your sentiment. Okay, then, let's go to our next story. You know, it is Salah time again in the Muslim world. In Kano State, for instance, that's a traditional center for Eid festivities. The Durbar, which is an ancient traditional religious and equestrian festival, it will not take place. The police, possibly based on intelligence reports, say they have placed a ban on all Durbar activities throughout the state. The idea is to forestall a breakdown of law and order and avoid a clash between supporters of the two claimants to the emirate seat. You know, this is known as a preemptive action, but will this be interpreted positively, Kunle? Is it a laughing matter?
No, it is, because the problem in Kano is an unnecessary, crisis.
Man-created.
When we talk about Nigeria, most of the problems of Nigeria are not from God.
Or the devil.
No, not devil. Not devil. It is we, the human beings that populate Nigeria, either as citizens or as leaders. What is it? What is the big deal? Emir, not Emir, they're going to court, they didn't know court. Please, to me, I find it extremely annoying. It's bad. Each time I think about it, it makes me feel very sad. That was disposed. The other one was reinstalled. Who was behind the one that was disposed? I mean,
deposed, yeah.
And also, but I'm happy that the police, at least, what the police is doing, excellent. I love this. If the IG, yes, I will openly commend the IG for this.
Okay.
In all the madness that is ongoing here, and because I see it as madness, unnecessary one. You want to hold number? You want to? No, we don't want. Because the blames or lives will not be lost.
Yeah.
And in that manner, you will no longer be talking about legality. And was it deposed? Was it not deposed? Did he obey court order? Which was last order? Which didn't? Does it have jurisdiction? You know, it is in our blood to always do all sorts of silly things. Where we know the route, this is the road, but we will go into the bush and now be going to court, desecrating the court, looking for court injunction, looking for court order, all sorts of funny things that we say, are we the only human beings on earth?
Thank you. Wale, Kunle is not speaking for you, or is he?
I think Kunle is quite correct. Just to also add that, you see, it's very unfortunate that this is happening in Kano. Kano is one of the most ancient cities, in Africa, with a very rich tradition. And they have had,
the Durbar, for instance, is a permanent feature.
Yeah, it's an ancient festival that even dates back to more than 800 years. There was a dynasty in Kano, Bagauda dynasty, before the 1804 jihad that overthrew that dynasty and then brought in, the descendant of Tumadan Fodi. One of his pupils was the first emir of Kano in 1807. So that is the dynasty we are having now, which is also, going to about over 150 years old now. And Kano has always been the center of learning in the whole of West Africa, Islamic learning. It's a center of civilization, a center of commerce, transatlantic trade. And in our secondary school, or primary school, we read about Kano. you know, the ancient kingdom and all that. So it's very unfortunate that...
Like the Oyo Empire in
yeah,
the West.
the Oyo Empire, yes. You know, Kano was...
And the one in the East.
Yeah, Ekaneme, you know.
Nupe Empire, all those.
So Kano is something that strikes me as that showcases our history as Africans. And it's very unfortunate that that symbol that actually signifies, that sustains that history, you know, is being assaulted by, you know, by politics. This is what I see that is going on. But it seems that the politicians realize how important that position is, and they think that they have to politicize it, you know. So when one
tinker with it,
yes, and I think this is not necessary. You know, it's really not necessary, because we should allow tradition to be tradition and then politics to be politics. What is going on now is that it's a reflection of the contradiction, inter-party contradictions, conflict between, you know, the former governor that was, was defeated, and then the current NNPC government. So a lot of our leaders don't realize that little things can snowball into greater crisis.
They matter. The small things.
Yeah, Kano is also a highly inflammable country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a city-state.
Yeah.
That any little thing, we have seen this happen over time. You know, that little thing can lead to, and when something happens in Kano, it's like a cobweb. It spreads to other. So it's in the interest of the political class, it's in the interest of the traditional rulers
to allow
peace to reign. So
to you, what the police has done in Kano is not just preemptive, but saving tomorrow today.
Absolutely. I support what the police has done. But I think at the end of the day, this case may continue in court, and we plead with both sides to allow, you know, the cause of justice to prevail. Except
that, Wale, but you know, in politics, when you bury the hatchet, you don't bury it with the handle.
Yeah. So that's
something still sticks out.
Sure, that is the reality, because the governor seems to be bent, stiff-necked, on insisting that, you know, he must have his own candidate as the MI. So I think this is a big problem, but I hope at the end of the day, common sense will prevail, because the people that we're even talking about are cousins. It's the same family, you know, the MI Bayero and then, the Sanusi, they are relations. So we also hope the elders in Kano State, and not just in Kano State, the Emirate up to Sokoto, which is the headquarters, should come in. Left for politicians, they will mess up the whole thing. So I hope traditional rulers, MIs in the north, will wake up and intervene, you know, in this crisis to ensure that there's prosperity and stability in Kano.
All right. So if you have just joined us, know that the police has banned the Doba for this year's Eid celebrations in Kano, and that, of course, raises a lot of hair, you know. That's what we are broaching. So, you see, so at this point, it's all sides must calm down.
Yes, they need to.
Yeah.
They need to, regardless of the legality, who should install an emir, who should dispose an emir, who should do all those ones, fine. But the truth is, the people of Kano deserve to have peace. What they are doing in Kano is an embarrassment to Nigeria. Whoever is behind it is an embarrassment to Nigeria.
Whoever is behind it should be ashamed.
And it's so sad that the court is being desecrated because of ordinary, royal, matter. It's unfair. It's not fair to, at least with enormity of the crisis we have in our country. Should we be, adding to the problems already?
Well, Wale alluded to the traditional institution. We should allow...
The politicians are in charge. Forget what the traditional institution, they know what is right. Even the politicians too know what is right. But this is what I want.
It must be so.
It's a problem among our politicians. You get what I'm saying? That's why I said whoever is behind it, it's an embarrassing thing to our country.
He or she should be ashamed.
People who are not from Nigeria will be reading about it and I will say, what is it? It's not. Before you know it, before we finish this program, you will see one court bringing up one thing that, oh, this one is not deposed, this one is disposed, this one is the right one, this one is the wrong. Come on. Over what? This life? A very transient, thing. Before you know it, everybody aspires, goes back to his or our maker. I don't know why we want to kill ourselves over ephemeralities.
Yeah.
It's sad. I feel bad each time I think about it. Kano is not just like any place. Kano is a center of culture. It's a center of everything that is good. And with all the madness in some part of Nigeria, do you see Kano join? Banditry, all these things, what insurgency. Kano remains peaceful. Why do you want to destroy it?
Wow. Okay. Again, Yusuf, I'm on the same page with you. So let it be with Caesar, as they say. All right, to our next story. The national minimum wage debate has been expanded to include the local government areas in the country. The Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON for short, has weighed in on the minimum wage debate. ALGON National President Aminu Muazu Meifata said it would be difficult for some local government areas in the country to pay 62,000 naira minimum wage that is proposed. He revealed that the 30,000 naira pay approved in 2019 is still difficult for some council areas to pay. Of course, Meifata revealed that the allocation from the Federation account, the Federation Allocation Committee, FAAC, would not be perhaps would not give enough to pay the 62,000 naira. We're still a long, long way from home. Wale.
Yes, I think there's no doubt about that. And I know that out of the 774 local governments, a lot of them will not be able to pay the minimum wage. It's not just about what they get, from the federal government or states, but also about their revenue generation capacity. If you go to some of these local governments, you'll be shocked about what is going on there. And even this 18,000 that we are 30,000 naira, some states, even when it was 18,000, some local government cannot pay. So, and that's why I'm saying that, labor still needs to do a lot of research and documentation, because ALGON that is talking is also part of labor. So if ALGON is saying that some local governments cannot pay 62,000 naira, then, and labor is insisting on, more than, insisting
215,000.
So you can see the contradiction. So because the ALGON we are talking about, they are workers directly working with local government, so they know the. And I think it boils down to the fact that what we have been saying, labor needs to do a lot in terms of research, in terms of documentation, in terms of what comes into each state, and in terms of what they think the government should do in order to be able to pay, the minimum that they are requesting for. Because if you are not careful, there may be chain impact that will affect all of us. Look at how much we are selling tomatoes now. 15,000 naira just yesterday. One pint of tomatoes. Look at even walnuts, 1,000 naira. How many pieces? Just about 6 pieces. So what are we talking about? So you could see that prices of items, bread, 1,500 naira, the big one. So everything is going beyond the reach of the common man.
It's like, Wale, it's like you are watching a poorly produced
script.
Poorly produced home video.
Yeah, I can't believe what I'm saying.
Unfolding before your eyes.
Look at, potatoes, the pint of tomato, beans used to be about, I think, 1,500 naira, 2,000. It's now 7,500 naira.
No, so I hear 10,000.
Yeah, maybe it has to go up because of the, of the festival. So you see, we are shocked. In fact, we can no longer breathe. So we agree there must be increase, but we have to be meticulous. We have to be painstaking to ensure that it's not going to be counterproductive. Because I don't know how we really want to manage. If you earn, let's say, 100,000 naira per month, and you are paying about 40,000 naira for electricity. So how do you want to cope? Prices of electricity has gone up. Charges for communication companies, your phone now, they have increased the prices. Even banks, frivolous charges. So do they want to kill us? They are telling us to prepare for tomorrow. But we don't want to die. If we die today, how are we going to see tomorrow? So things are extremely bad. But the issue may not just be increase in minimum wage, because if you are not careful, it may lead to counter problems that you are going to find out that even when you collect that 62,000 naira or 100,000 naira, you may find it difficult to purchase essentials of life.
All right, gentlemen, we must take a breather here. We have a commercial break. We should be back shortly. Please stay. We're still on until
to 15 of the 2022 party constitution as amended to the APC South-South Executive Committee meeting scheduled as follows. Date, Sunday 16th of June 2024. Venue, Conference Hall, Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Calabar, Cross River State. Time, 2 p.m. prompt. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Senator Godswill Oborokpabio, CON, the Senate President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. For further inquiries, please contact the following. Dr. Ita Udosen, Zonal Secretary. Dr. Blessing Agbomere Esquire, Zonal Organizing Secretary. David Okumba, Zonal Publicity Secretary. Alphonsus Oga Eba Esquire JP, Chairman APC Cross River State. And you can call him on 0806-580-6154. Attendees will be published in Nation and Vanguard newspapers from the 11th to the 14th of June 2024. This is signed by His Excellency Senator Prince Basi Ederutu, Governor of Cross River State and APC South-South Zonal Coordinator, and Chief Victor Tombari Giadom, APC National Vice Chairman, South-South.
Hi, this is Dr. Abiola Salami, the world-class performance strategist and member, Forbes Coaching Council. I am extending an exclusive invitation to all senior leaders in public and private sector organizations across the globe to join me and Harvard University's Professor Dana Bourne, President Joe Biden's Commissioner Ray Jefferson, the seasoned board chair, Dr. Musu Bello Olusoga, at Dr. Abiola Salami International Leadership Bootcamp 2.0, holding from 23rd to 29th June 2024 in Mombasa, Kenya. The bootcamp is designed not only to build leadership skills, but also to promote overall well-being through structured relaxation practices with energizing wellness routines and group social events to foster camaraderie and relaxation in the serenity of Mombasa. We had a great time at the last edition in Nairobi with leaders gaining insights for reshaping their organizations, and we will have a greater time in Mombasa, co-creating an amazing leadership experience together. In case you can't attend the Mombasa edition this June, you can join us at Marrakesh, Morocco for the 3rd edition in October 2024. For more information, visit www.abiolachamp.com. Till I see you at the bootcamp, keep rocking your world like a champion.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Yusuf, Argon is saying the 62,000 naira which you are canvassing, even local governments cannot pay it.
Well,
Many local governments, the president says, cannot pay it.
well there's something.
That's the president of Argon.
I'm not faulting his claim. You get what I'm saying? Look at the sharing formula of national revenue. The local governments, 744. I think they take about 20%.
20.6%.
All the 774 local governments in Nigeria.
Minus one back at
The the states 36.
federal 52 point.
52, say 26.72%.
The federal government takes more than 52 because by the time you calculate ecological form, so we are seeing let's go back to the right narrative. I haven't seen it in our conversation. And the state of national discourse, reveals a lot about the health or future of any society. National minimum wage. National minimum wage. In a democracy, we have done everything from the federal government to the labor union to the states to local. All we have done the wrong thing. In any country, should we pattern our system along the American experiment?
After the American type democracy.
Look at the national minimum wage in America. The government only fixes national minimum wage.
Well, in America, they earn by the hour.
It's the same thing, whether you calculate it per hour or you calculate it per month. But what they are trying to do is to prevent exploitation. And when the federal government fixes it, what happens in any state is the bigger one operates. And most states in America, there is no even state that is not even doing more than the federal.
And because they are federating units.
Go and check District of Columbia. It's probably paying the highest. You get what I'm saying? There are cities. If you go to California, you will see several municipals, you see several cities, you see several counties having their own minimum wage. In fact, as high like times 3 of national minimum wage. The point I was trying to make is Nigeria is a federal, country. I mean, that's what we claim to be operating. Why must somebody in Lagos State, where the cost of living is very high, hand the same thing with somebody in Oye-Ekiti? It is not the same. We need to bring back, the right conversations. When the labor is in national labor, no. It is workers in Lagos State. We agitate or whatever it is with those in charge of Lagos State. And whatever they agree, they are not going to be banned by what President Tinubu signed. No. In fact, what President Tinubu will sign, should not even be too high. So that any state, that is
President Tinubu's border here is federal workers.
But that is why we are saying it should not be. You will see the state in Nigeria whenever the federal government...
But that's what the rule says.
That is why we should change it. This being proper. The man who is a professor at the University of Lagos, we want to, and the man who is a professor at Federal University of Oye-Ekiti cannot hand the same amount. It's wrong anywhere. It only happens in Nigeria. You operate wages based on cost of living and what is agreed. But we need to make everything, because Nigeria, we turn everything upside down.
So how do we take this home now?
We need to bring the right conversations on board. That's what the Ajero led and his team, what they are doing. Well, in a normal democracy, in a normal federal system, it's wrong. What the federal government and they are all wrong. What we should be doing is for federal workers. The states, all of them have absolute powers to negotiate. Do you know that most Nigerian states are not even paying 30,000 minimum wage? I say most, because you have about 20-something states that are not doing it. What are we now saying?
Out of 36.
Yes. Look at the man, Al Gore man. You thought he was playing politics. No. He was saying the reality. You may not like what he's saying, but that is the reality. 774 local government. How many of them? Even when the states, when I still check, it's about Lagos, Oyo, Rivers. Not many states are able to pay the old minimum wage. And yet we are here talking 62, 250,000, all those things. Please.
All right then.
We need to change the narrative. It is not proper. Go and check most American states, out of their 50 states, pay like times 3, times 2 of the national minimum wage.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Wale, how do you take this one home?
Well, I think the U.S. has a national minimum wage of $7.25, which means that
per hour.
That they don't expect any state to pay below that. Like I said, some states pay more than that, you know. And I think
based on their earning ability.
Or
their solvency.
Yeah, so it's never the same, you know, nationally. But I think beyond the issue of minimum wage, our country must address the problem of wealth creation. We must address, and you cannot talk about wealth creation without looking at monopoly of the means of production, especially land and capital. Local governments, if there are industries, you will discover that most people will not even work with the civil service. They will move to those industries. Why is boxing, textile industry in Kaduna, production industries in Akwa Ibom that were booming in the 80s? And in fact, the least, when you come out of school, the least place anybody wanted to work was to go to the civil service. But now, when you come out of university, you are just looking for anything. If I want to take you to civil service, you will rush it and grab it with your two hands. The civil service is supposed to be a small population of workers, while we have an industrial complex that employs hundreds of thousands of people.
You just talked about textile industry, in passing. But do you know, until recently, I never knew there were up to 400 of them.
Yeah.
Immobilized now because they are not functional.
Sure.
Look at Aswani here in Lagos.
Even when you're at university on holidays, you come and work in factories and then you earn a living. But those factories have been converted into faith-based organizations. And you see, there are people who are talking about factories leaving Nigeria. You see, it's a very bad thing, but it could be turned into an advantage. If factories are leaving, they are not leaving the country with their workers. They are not leaving the country with the skilled workers. They are not leaving the country with the land, even the machines. So, a responsible government will have engaged them and even take over those machines that are leaving behind. What happens is that when they leave, those places will be taken over by either churches or mosques. And those factories, go to boxing, see those factories are still there. Those machines are still there. What is the federal government doing in terms of engaging those that are leaving so that they can replace them with local workforce? We are not doing that. If a big company leaves your country, it can be an advantage. You can take over the process, employ more people, and then take over the ownership of such an industry.
Put simply, as we agreed earlier on, our problems are created by us.
Yeah.
And only us can solve these problems.
And we need that will and determination and honesty of purpose to be able to resolve the problem. It's not just about minimum wage. You must create wealth to be able to make our country to be a prosperous.
All right. We can. Yes, we can. I remember that line. Yes, we can.
We can.
Yes, we can. Okay, then, let's take on our last story for today. The 2014 National Conference designed to search for equity and justice in economic independence, social cohesion, national integration, and political stability has come and gone, but its relevance has refused to go away. Elder statesman, Ijaw leader, and politician, Chief Edwin Kiagbodo Clark,
either after 8 years or whatever, and he doesn't restructure Nigeria, I would believe all his time in power is a complete waste. But because it will be a golden opportunity that we may not be able to get again for a very long time. Having one of those who have risked everything for Nigeria.
But he cannot single-handedly do it.
Just wait.
Okay.
So one of those who risked everything, protesting, agitating, doing everything, to have democracy, to have rule of law, to have this, to have that. Ashwaju is a smart politician. Do it. Do you think Nigerians are happy with this system? What we have now? No, who is happy? The Yoruba people? The Northerners? The Igbos? Nobody is happy with Nigeria.
The Niger Delta?
No, in fact, the Niger Delta. Not that you will come to my backyard, destroy my land, destroy my home, destroy my farm, destroy my ecosystem, everything. Now give me pittance out of it. Please, with this system we're having, you go and read the 2014 Convert very well. One of the biggest recommendations was resource control. They said states should control resources they have.
Generated by...
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is to say, referring us to 1963. Not just that, devolution of power.
Yeah, okay.
That is, go back to true federalism.
Yusuf,
what we're having now is not federalism.
All right, Yusuf, I hear you. Wale, I know Yusuf has managed to remember that we have had 10 national conferences.
Yeah.
And with 10 national conferences reports.
Yeah.
So where are they? And don't you think the statement I made earlier on, commentators have said our problem is no more constitutional as it is, more of attitude. Our attitude needs be restructured.
Well, I think we've been having constitutional conferences in the Clifford Constitution of 1922. And I think under the British we had about 4 constitutions. You know, the Tutun Constitution, Macpherson Constitution, Richardson Constitution.
Yeah.
It was the 1946 Richardson Constitution that gave us a federal system of government. And I think they came to Nigeria in 1865. For more than 60 years, I think the British had the opportunity to study our society very, very well. And in 1959, before they were leaving, they set up the Henry Wilkins Commission, which went round. That was the only thing similar to a people's constitution.
Minority rights.
Went round all over the country. And when they were leaving, they said, look, let us have 3 regions with a high level of autonomy. You know, state police, even the embassies, you know, foreign relations. The Western region at that time had a Western House in London. You know, and we had control over a lot of things.
Let me paint this picture. I'm sure Adekunle remembers this. You know, in those far off years, if what do you call them now? Tax people chased you from Igbobi area.
Yeah.
The moment you got to Fadei and crossed over, they stopped chasing you.
Yeah.
Because you were in the federal territory.
Yes. Yeah. So you see, when you are talking about industrial estates in Apapa, the GRE in Keja,
why is the place referred to as boundary? That was the boundary between
Western
federal and
Federal Capital
Territory. You know,
yes, it was moved to Abuja. You get what I'm saying? That was the boundary
between Western region and
federal.
Yes.
Federal territory.
So you see, we've had, you know, a better time based on the understanding of those who ruled this country for about 60 years. When they were doing their own constitution, they received 1 million memoranda from all over, from labor, from students, and do you know what happened in South Africa? They interpreted that constitution to 11 local languages, so that every language in South Africa, anywhere you can read and understand what they are talking about, their constitution. We've never had a people's constitution in this country. That is the truth of the matter. So the person talking about that we should implement 2014, yes, it's right, but I don't think it's everything there that we can implement. I think there are some good...
The report is 810 pages.
10,325 pages. And they had 600 resolutions, you know, that were made. There are some good ones, like restructuring. They even recommended scrapping of local government. You know, they recommended devolution of power. They recommended creation of 18 states, which I don't agree with them. So,
fiscal federalism.
Yeah, fiscal federalism.
Then devolution of power.
Yeah, devolution. So, the fact of the matter is that there are areas that I think this current regime should extract and, you know, work with the National Assembly so that we can implement those aspects. And I believe it's going to resolve a lot of contradictions. The fact of the matter is that Nigeria is still looking for a nation state. We are yet to have a national, an agreement on national values or national ethos. You know, there is no unity in terms of ethnic diversity and all that. And if we don't do this, we will not be able to resolve the problem of terrorism, the problem of IPOP, OPC, OLM, and all that. Unless we sit down on the round table and discuss, it might be too late for us. So I buy minority issues, minority rights. You know, people producing oil, and then you take the whole thing to, out from them. They queue up, somebody will collect a license, come to your backyard and take over your oil. And if you go to these communities, they have been destroyed almost irredeemably. Look at pollution, Look at the impact on things.
When I hear
environmental devastation.
Hold on.
So for how long?
When I hear that gold is being, mined illegally in Zamfara.
Yeah, Elisha, Oshun, So why should that happen?
And we're talking. Ondo State has the second largest bitumen in the whole world.
In the whole world.
But we can't take advantage.
We can't. So we can't continue to run a garrison state. It will not work. We are, of different ethnic background. We are of different culture. We must identify those differences. You cannot unite us by decree. We must recognize those differences and realize that.
As our religious people, we want us to believe they are man-made problems, and we are eminently competent and qualified to resolve the problems. If we do, for example, state police, fiscal federalism, all those things, if you solve the problems today, we can face up with America, UK, the places where our people run to. In 20 years, Nigeria will be a wonder to the whole world.
We'll stop playing catch-up.
And then we also need to restructure ourselves. The way Nigerians behave, whether as followers and leaders, we don't seem to love our country.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Gentlemen, we must go. But not before thanking Adekunle Yusuf for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I cherish your intervention.
Thank you.
Adewale Adeoye.
Thank you.
They say being a gentleman is good until it becomes difficult. Yeah. But you've been gentle throughout, so we thank you very kindly. Yeah. All right then, 2014 National Conference Report. There's this saying, there's quite nothing like an old idea whose time has come. We're done, we must go. And so that's all on the show. If you missed any part of it, not to worry. A repeat broadcast is built for 11 tonight. And then on Sunday, we expect our man BKO Jide to have been back between 1:30 and 3:30. Watch out for that.